Riders fans, we have round 3 of Supercross, and it was a good one.
What chance does a privateer have?
Welcome to Supercross.
What do you say to a factory ride?
You know, they were supposed to be round 2, but they canceled Oakland. And man, I got so many text messages of, hey, why aren't they racing? Why aren't they racing? I'm like, hey guys, it's like a safety thing and a money thing. And nobody wants to see bad racing, and bikes don't want to get messed up. So just hold your horses and wait till next weekend. Man, it was a good weekend. This was sort of like an A1. We had like 2 Super Bowls already. And because of the Super Motocross, we're going to have a 3rd Super Bowl with the actual finale. I think Dirtworks did an amazing job with the track. Yes, it was a smaller stadium than what it was last time, so everything was a little bit tighter. I thought that the berms were a little bit lower than what you typically see, so it made for a little bit more of flat corner racing, but guys were still able to push each other around, and the track ended up being quite a bit safer than what A1 was. And I know in the shit show, our live show every Friday, I was talking with Cooksey. We were bantering back and forth about how the start flat corner wasn't going to be very good passing, and I guess that was sort of a toss-up. It seemed to me more of a one line, sort of a also ran type of a part for the track. And we also argued about the whoops.
No, Cheyenne, I do agree with you. I think it's smart to have a double there as opposed to having a double at the end, because you'll see guys end up endoing into the face of it.
And I really like the double into the whoops because it gives riders the ability to set up and coast a little bit, you know, shift up to 3rd, 4th, then let off a little bit, preload that bike, then da-da-da-da-da. It made for some really good racing. However, those whoops also took out a lot of people. Sexton, even Malcolm Stewart in the main event. They had to restart a race for Heat 1 in the 250 because of Colby Cobb. He ended up hitting his head hard into the next corner there. Roxon almost went down when he was battling with Barcia there. It was fairly sketchy. And it wasn't just the whoops that were taking people out. The start was taking people out as well. You had Max Vohland endoing on the restart. That was just a mishap on his part. Then you had this crazy domino effect in the 250 main with Kitchen and Lopes and his teammate Robertson, where Kitchen runs into Lopes and then bounces off of him and runs into Robertson, almost what happened with Faulkner at round 1. I will have a track analysis later, so make sure you guys keep in tune and subscribe. I appreciate everybody that has been liking the channel and subscribing and sharing, and we have a live show every Friday. We've got privateers on, we've got other influencers on the internet for motocross and supercross, so make sure you check that out at noon Pacific time. If I'm just continuing, one of the things that stood out to me was, yes, Jet Lawrence. And it wasn't him just winning the race, because we pretty much all thought that he was just going to win the race. It was his qualifying time. His qualifying time was 2nd out of everybody. He was 1st in the 250 class, but he was actually 2nd in the 450 class. The only guy that beat him by a 10th was Malcolm Stewart. That's insane. A 250 having the same lap times as a 450. It's crazy. And it's always been incredibly close like that. But I have to wonder, whenever I was racing a 250 and a 450, I was always faster on the 450 because it was faster. A 250, it could just be the Supercross. Whenever I was trying with Supercross and motocross, the Supercross with the 250 and 450, I was closer, but I was still faster on the 450 because of the grunt, the extra horsepower. So that just tells you that these 250s are running really, really, really strong. It's that whole MotoGP thing where when they went from 1,000 cc's down to 900, 800 cc's, they actually ended up going faster. It's sort of the case with the 250s. The 250s are easier to ride, they're lighter, and if you can make 50, 60 horsepower with them, why not just freaking ride a 250? A 450 is too much power for 99% of us. Since I'm sticking with the 250 class, Enzo Lopes, that Club MX team, they are making Star Yamaha look bad. Well, I mean, the riders sort of got taken out by each other on the start. However, even in the heat races, even Phil Nicoletti is getting in there and making it happen. Yeah, he moves in his way backwards. He's getting older, so maybe his aerobic capacity isn't as strong as it used to be. His VO2 max is going down every year, but he's still up there to make it happen for the first few laps. I'm really impressed with Club MX. I believe they're going to have a strong team moving forward. They're going to be one of the top guys in the paddock from here on out. Full 50s. Have to make a shout out to the guys that were on 252 strokes. You had Jared Lesher, who qualified 29th, and then you had Stank Dog, who qualified 36th. Jared was on a Yamaha, Stank was on a Husky, but they're not on 125s, they're on 252 strokes in the 450 class. And with Kenny, I also was talking about in my live show that Kenny really needed to make it happen this weekend, to make it foreseen to his competition that he is here to party. He's here to party. But instead he got in a big mix-up with Bam Bam. That's not particularly the guy that you want to party with. You know, like party, not party, party. It sounds French, party. Not that I'm trying to offend anybody here, right? Moving on. I thought it was interesting that at round 1, his suspension looked all over the place. Then he decided to switch, go to factory connections, but the rest of the team has to use the old stuff. Is this favoritism? Is this what I'm talking about with potentially factory parts? You're having one rider getting all of the resources and the other riders are just left with whatever they have left over. That is essentially the definition of factory parts, is whenever they do have a limited item, it goes on the best rider's bike and the other guys just get stuff, right? If you have enough for it to go around, hell yeah, everybody gets it. That's not always the case. And Cooper Webb actually qualified really well. Cooper Webb qualified 3rd and he ended up finishing 2nd. That is not a typical Cooper Webb. You want to talk about somebody that came here to party, it's Webb. Webb is on fire, and he actually pulled back up to Tomac towards the end of the main event and hung with him. That is a huge confidence boost, that you didn't just get dropped. You were out front, you got passed, but you didn't get dropped. Tomac didn't win by 10 seconds. He won by 2, maybe even less than 2. I'm super impressed with Cooper. Now I'm starting to think that if there is going to be a guy to get it done, it's not going to be a green bike, it's going to be an orange bike. I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. I believe, and Kenny really should have gotten a 3rd place. However, I talked about in my video yesterday that just, it's self-preservation. You either could end up 20th or 4th. What are you going to take? He's going to take 4th. He's a smart man. He's looking for the future. He's got the World Supercross Championship that he hasn't said that he's going to defend. I'm pretty confident that he is going to defend that and just ixnay motocross unless there's a lot of money behind there. You know, whatever pays best, he's going to do it. And whatever's going to leave behind a bigger legacy for him, that's where he's going to go. This is Johnny F. and Hopper. Keep it tuned to MX Unfiltered. Till next time.